Welcome back, disc golf fans. This is the final round coverage of the 2021 Santa Cruz Masters Cup presented by Innova Champion Discs. This is the front 12 coverage. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here one more time by my special co-host, AJ Risley.
That's
AJ,
me.
It's been such an awesome time watching this course. It's so different from the rest of the courses the players see on tour. A literal time capsule. This is the 35th year this tournament has been ran at this property. And from what I've talked, from what I've heard from a lot of players that have played here a long time, very much unchanged, except for a lot of trees that have fallen. The course has actually probably gotten easier in some ways over the years. And still, our best players in the world are still not shooting hot, like super hot out here. There's no perfect rounds. Players are still missing a lot of holes. We have a phenomenal card. And again, this wonderful drone flyover is sponsored by Flight Factory. Shout outs to them. Hole 1, we have an awesome card of players that is going to attack this hole with a lot of aggression. I'm so excited for you all to watch James Proctor play more disc golf. This is a 1040 rated player that lives in California, doesn't tour full time, but is one of my favorite backhand throwers in disc golf.
Yeah, big spinny boy. Here we go.
Absolutely manhandles the disc. Flat line out of the hand. And that got pin high so quickly.
Very quick, and it still had some juice on it when it hit the ground, so it was bouncing forward. And I think you said Alden was from Tennessee yesterday, but I think he's actually from Georgia. I looked at his player profile, and it said
Georgia.
Woodstock, Georgia.
Yes.
So Alden, if you're listening,
apologies.
Thank you for forgiving us, because I know you will.
And Alden puts his to about 35 short left.
Third on the tee from Wyoming, Michigan.
And I feel like as long as Alden has some stable footing, he's got a really good chance from 35 and in.
Definitely.
Another young guy, Kyle Klein.
What I like about Kyle is he has very Simon Lizotte-esque form, but the lines he chooses to throw are much more technical than what Simon throws off the tee.
Interesting.
Kyle likes to throw a lot of flipping lines, just like this, actually. These kind of long, arcing drift shots.
And from Huntington Beach, Paul McBeth.
And then there's Paul McBeth. What else can we say?
Literally does pretty much everything that the previous three players can do with a disc.
Yes. Big spinny boy from Tennessee who likes to throw Simon-esque shots, but more technical lines. Which means all that combination gives him a great chance at just about every tournament. Great hyzer flip shot. Man, that was like beeline for the pin. Hits the second shelf. He'll have about 20, but won't be too much of a problem.
Alden.
No, sit down. Oh, wow.
And he's going to be 35 uphill now. Kyle just off to the right. And this is a big comebacker for Alden. You never want to start this course with a bogey.
Yeah, you never want to, but I feel like most players, they know it could happen. Oh, man.
Well.
Oh, man.
I guess.
Now he knows that he could be getting a bogey. And he's going to have to make an even longer, more difficult, lower ceiling putt just to get that bogey. Gosh, sit down. Okay.
Not an optimal start here for Alden.
Or is it? I mean, a very big number on the first hole. For some players, it gets them going. It really does. Obviously, we want to take that very big number like in the practice field before bringing it onto the course when things matter.
Oh.
Dang.
And after Paul taps in his birdie, that is going to be a tough number to fight back from for Alden. Every birdie out here has to be earned with a very solid tee shot.
James also for birdie. And even though James and Alden and Kyle were all on the chase card to start the day, they were also tied for 3rd place to start the day.
Moving into number 2, this hole has posed quite a challenge to these players. 276, the drone's flying up the safer gap. There is a right gap that the players have been trying to go for. This is just one of the holes that you can roll away 150 feet if you're not careful. That's the line you want.
Wow.
Flatter line from James. That's perfect.
Great
It's
shot.
exactly what you want to do. Not as much steep hyzer angle going up that hill, more of a flat line that hits
Yeah.
with more of the wing.
It looked like it could have been something slightly overstable. It looked like he kind of pushed it over to that right side, and the disc was trying to fight left the entire way.
Undertaker from Paul.
Yeah, and then there's McBeth, who does a slightly different play, because Undertaker's is not as overstable.
Little bit understable for him.
Yeah. So he's almost trying to throw it left of the basket
Yeah.
and have the disc drift to the right and then fall back left. Tough to do on a uphill hole, and then a hole with a lot of side slope too. I mean, this hole is all side slope.
Oh, that was. Oh, wow.
Look
It
at
did sneak
that,
past
man.
that tree in the middle.
That
And
was
he-
kind of in between
Yeah.
James and Paul there. A little combination of both.
And
Okay, that was very helpful. That
Yeah.
could have been more of the same from hole 1. Okay. Sit down. Yeah, it's Sunday, so you know McBeth is giving that one a run.
Oh, yeah. Tied for 6th place at the moment. Lots of work to do, but again, there's 24 birdies out here to be had, and none of them are impossible.
True. And then at the same time, all of them are possible bogey holes.
Yeah. And Proctor gets a 2nd birdie. 2 for 2 to start the round is not too shabby. And here's Kyle for a birdie as well. High off the top. Scooted down a little bit. Taps in another par. Drives are looking good for him, so he's just got to stay patient and hope that putting stroke gets warmed up as the round goes on.
Yeah, we got a chance to see his full routine on that putt. So then to see just a simple miss off the band is, it's kind of perplexing. This is hole 3, 354 feet. It's a par 3, flat, up on top of this plateau with some trees on the left, trees on the right to kind of frame a tunnel shot, cliff on the right. And it's deceiving. Sometimes there's a crosswind, sometimes there's a headwind.
And this looks like an old, either a T-bird or a leopard that Proctor was throwing and scooted it up there. He's
Gets
pinned
the
high.
scoot. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Proctor throws
And you can see the
extremely-
people in the back there. Yeah, I think the tall guy's his dad, and then Sean Mercy. They're nodding their heads with him. Like,
Yeah.
yes, James, yes. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, just saying, it's interesting to see some players that have this 500, 600 foot plus power throwing a driver on a 354 foot hole.
Yeah, good point.
Decision making wise, it's very interesting because it's not that uphill, it's not downhill. It's
And if anything, it's just narrow and it finishes
Yeah.
straight, so it kind of plays against that high speed driver. But he threw it really low and he threw it pretty snappy, so it just scooted straight. Here's Kyle taking a little bit higher route.
yeah, he actually went mid range, and that 15 feet, that's going to be a birdie for him more than likely. Let's see if Alden can put one out there. First couple of drives have not looked very deliberate from him.
This looks like a mid also. There you go.
That's a good shot from Alden.
Wow, yeah. Neither side of the trees came into play on his shot. Didn't really get affected by the wind. McBeth from deep.
Running the 100-footer like it was no problem.
Oh,
Another miss from Alden.
good putt. Right on the pole.
And the pro comebacker for the par after running the 100-footer about 30 long.
There it is. Turkey to start.
And James is definitely in the hunt for the win already. I mean, and he's looking fantastic. Every drive has come out of his hand looking pretty much perfect.
Yeah, I think DeLaveaga, with all of its quote-unquote teeth, it kind of scares the player. They get a little bit more timid. And so I think James, maybe the secret to success so far is, I'm just going to be the opposite of timid. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to throw strong shots, throw strong putts, and see what happens.
The Innova, it taught me how to throw smooth, clean lines, but it also taught me how to build trust in my disc. I can put it on any line and it will hold it. I know when I throw it, it's going to stick right there. I feel like it's very unique, and it kind of reminds me, like, nobody's ever the same. That's what I love about it. It stands out. And for me as a person, I like to stand out.
And moving to top of the world one more time. We've seen a variety of different plays on this hole. We've seen the sidearm left. We've seen the very wide hyzer off to the right. We've also seen a few players throw putter at it and put it inside circle one as well, just directly at it. There used to be a giant tree right off the tee that would force you to go straight at it. So this hole has changed actually for the easier over the years. This is Proctor going with the first forehand of the day.
He doesn't love it, but the wind will help this shot. It'll push it towards the ground.
Yeah, he'll have a decision whether or not he wants that too, but I'm guessing after 3 in a row, I'm sure a par is not too bad for him either after a misfire.
Only time will tell, as Nate Sexton says.
Kyle with a decent-looking hyzer. That's spiking nicely.
Sit.
No, it hit the hard pack.
Ouch.
And he is out of bounds. I was thinking that was just going to stick on the ground with how vertical that was coming in. Paul having to make a correction on Kyle's line. Oh, yeah. Circle one for Paul. Love whenever Alden throws those big power hyzers. I just love how it snaps out of his hand so clean. And Alden's is safe. Let's jump back real quick to Paul's big, wide hyzer. Paul has actually quieted his upper body over the years. If you watch footage of him when he played for Innova, he had much more of an exaggerated pump than he does now. Now it's just kind of following in line with his back foot. Timing is literally perfect. The disc never moves past his back foot.
He reaches out rather than reaching back.
Yeah, it's a really simple extension, and all of that simple run-up going into a huge hyzer shot inside circle one.
And there's the layup from James. Yeah.
Yeah, downhill 70-footer after a turkey.
But then you think, okay, McBeth is only 3 strokes behind him. Would McBeth have ran that putt?
The world will never know. Paul does.
I don't know. We got like 20 more holes, so maybe the world will know by the end of the round. Not on hole 4 whether or not he'll run it, but
James got the par. Again, 3 down through 4 is not too shabby out here. Again, like I was saying, the hottest round of the weekend was 14 under. They still missed 10 holes out here. So
Sure.
there's a lot of challenging golf left. And a bogey for Kyle after going out of bounds. And a slow start for Alden. We've seen him shoot very well here yesterday's round. See if he can come back from that. Moving into number 5, the mail slot. It's just a really awesome shot to watch get over this log. You have to throw a hard driver that gets a very calculated skip over the top shelf, over the log. Not easy with the low ceiling.
And the tee pad is slightly uphill, too. It's like an uphill run-up on the tee. Just barely. But still, that kind of makes throwing low kind of difficult.
Paul going. Looked like he was trying to go with a flippier disc. That might have been a vulture that he was throwing. And he's going to have a look, actually.
I think there's something on that right side, too. We mentioned the left side yesterday, but that right side, there's a sneaky little back or side door gap.
Look at that power from Proctor. Second shelf, he has a decision to make there.
Yeah, he might have an opening for a long run. Uphill this time, rather than downhill like the last hole.
Little high from Alden. Scoots him to the bottom, but again, a straight look at the basket uphill. Oh,
Yes!
yeah, let's go, Kyle. Underneath the log. But to clear the top shelf on a fly is a near perfect execution on height.
Alden with the long look. Wow, that was a lot of power on that putt. James putting it, too.
Close. He'll have another par likely from there. And here's Paul for an unlikely birdie going off to the right side. Just left. He knows he has moves to make. That is a wild birdie. To throw an air shot that far in this hole is...
Do you think he called going under the log?
No.
No?
No.
You don't think he did that?
You know, AJ, I don't think he did.
He's like, hey, guys, I'm going under the log today. My name's Kyle. That didn't happen?
No. I will go on a limb and say that he threw it hard and... I mean, great shot. Amazing shot from Kyle. Great birdie. This is not a hole that you get too often.
Yeah, anytime you get solo bird on your card in an NT, you know you're doing something right. This is hole 6, 270 feet. We're going up the hill on this right side, breaking to the left. Now it's a side slope, but the whole time it's just limestone. It's concrete. Behind the basket, there's a cliff that drops off, so you do the math at home. Concrete green plus cliff behind the basket equals death putt. I did the math for you.
You know, and it's interesting. This cypress tree really makes this backhand tough. Like, Paul might even be trying to go behind or just underneath the cypress to give himself at least something. But yeah, this is the backhand just sets you up for a 35-foot death putt. The optimal shot is really just a towering Anheuser forehand that flexes. This is what's typical of the backhand, and if he can
What's happening?
Oh no.
Where? Where are you going?
James.
Where are you going? Okay, fine.
That is getting daylight in every sense of the word.
That's so strange. I just strange because I hadn't seen it yet. Interesting because it looked like a good line, but maybe too much spike hyzer, too much power on the spin, maybe.
Didn't roll that far, rolled far enough to just have a jump putt at the basket. He'll have another 3. This is one that, yeah, you kind of have to set your limit. Like, how far You know, is 40 feet too far for me, you know, to run the putt? Or a lot of times for a lot of players I've talked to, circle one is kind of their rule of thumb.
Well, what's too far for you? Because you made a putt from, like, Kyle's bag yesterday. It was pretty sick.
That was a desperation putt, AJ.
Ah.
Paul missing his putt from about 30. This is one of the most specific shots on the course, I think. If you want to get within, you know, the bullseye, it's so hard to throw the line the hole wants you to throw.
Yeah, it really is.
And the course was put in the 80s, so to imagine what was having to be thrown back then, incredible.
Love getting outside and challenging yourself to become better? How about spending time with family and friends, or just marveling at the pure joy of flight? Then you've come to the right place at the right time. Join the PDGA.
Hole number 7, 354 feet, dead straight. You can slide a mid-range up to the basket pretty easily. A lot of players with any sort of sidearm are going high stall shot or some sort of just spike hyzer forehand.
Yeah, and that kind of takes those trees out of play.
Exactly.
A little bit.
There's a nice dead tree off to the left that you can use as a reference. As long as you push just in front of this guy, you're doing all right. I think that ended up all right.
This shot isn't too far for a forehand either. It does go downhill, so you can kind of tell, like, wow. You could tell how much power a player has with their sidearm by how high they throw the
Exactly.
shot.
And Paul, I think, has one of the longer sidearms, you know, most underrated sidearms, I think, on tour.
Oh, no.
Proctor skied his a little bit. As long as that spikes down nicely.
Maybe he has a lot of power, too, and I'm... Okay. Yeah, a little short, but it's on the ground. Alden going back to that overstable mid we saw him throw yesterday. Looking good. Didn't hit a tree. He'll have a putt from circle's edge, maybe just a little bit outside. Another layup.
Oh, Kyle
What?
just off the tray from about 55. And Alden, this is his chance to kind of get back on the board. 40-footer.
Man, his putts are a little low today. That's what it looks like.
And that's kind of the crazy thing about disc golf is, you know, since you are the club and the disc is the golf ball, you know, every morning your body feels just a little bit different. And Shasta Chris has said that there's some days in putting it feels like a high gravity day. And hole number 8, the Barsby roller ace hole. We have not seen too many clean shots on this yet. Calvin Heimberg was one of the only ones that threw a push hyzer, you know.
Push hyzer over the cliff,
Yeah,
too.
remotely close to the basket. A lot of different plays on this. I'm guessing our card is going to be throwing that safe, well, safe-ish hyzer, just trying to get somewhere in the fairway to get up and down. Vulture from Paul. Oh, yeah.
Great line.
This looks fantastic.
Be nice.
Still great. He's about 35-40 from the basket. Any putt for a 2 on this is great.
Oh, it's flipping. What's happening?
That's got to sit down
Be
quick.
nice. Oh, no, I think he knows it, too.
He knows it's gone. Hopefully the spotter did some work and found it. Proctor hoping to make a adjustment on that shot. He is a big hyzer thrower.
Oh, man.
It's such a tight window. It looks like that's the line, but there's really not much there.
Alden going back, same play we saw yesterday, going for the forehand turnover roller, but I think it just didn't have time to turn over and stand up.
Look at that.
Man, that's a great shot.
That shot reminded me do you remember when Manabu Kajiyama was here playing this tournament a few years ago? He threw a few shots in this hole, and the announcers, the commentators made a note that he played a lot of ultimate and threw a beautiful putter approach shot. That shot that Alden just threw was very similar to me. Beautiful. Yes.
Putt. Whoa.
Keeps the par train going. That is huge. Preserving his birdies that he started with. Let's definitely pull a Gatekeeper rewind on this.
Wow.
That is a pro-level shot, and he knows it.
He loves it.
Circle 2 is just becoming so important these days on tour. It used to be Circle 1 was what you had to make to win a tournament, and now it's stretching farther and farther out each year.
Man.
And Paul misses another one. Kind of been a theme for him this season. Missing quite a few more putts than he normally has. And the crazy thing is, whenever his putt is on, he's won.
Yeah.
Every single tournament. His drives have been fantastic. He's amazing at getting into Circle 2 in regulation. Usually leads the driving stats in a few categories.
And he usually leads the putting stats, too.
Yeah.
Or at least he's up there. He's way up there.
Yeah.
But right now, he's tied for 5th. And this is hole 9, 393 feet. It's going to be flat here until now we start going downhill a little bit. And the fairway just keeps getting narrower and narrower. And then past the basket, another cliff.
One of my favorite shot shapes on the course. I've said this in every round, but it really makes me happy to see kind of an old school line be forced here.
A dead straight line with a low ceiling.
Ooh, Paul going high. That's going to drop, but it very well could. I think that was a jawbreaker wasp that he threw. That flipped up pretty quick. Oh, Kyle was so close to getting that thing to push over to the right, just not in time.
Yeah, that flippy disc is a good play on a hole like this because really you want the second half of your flight to be as straight as possible. And you don't really get that with any other kind of throw other than that hyzer flip.
And Proctor looked like a couple degrees of hyzer off from getting that to stay flat. Super specific.
It looked to me like he might have overpowered it slightly, which is a common mistake on this hole as well. 393 feet.
Go. And that's flipping a little bit. It's still, oh, he was so close. Caught some late branches. Another thing I've noticed about DeLaveaga as Kyle gets up to the green here, even the ends of the branches of these trees are solid as a rock. You could touch the very last bit of a branch on some of these trees and get absolutely smacked down. There's not a lot of chancing branches on this course. You want to avoid them at all cost.
Yeah, they grow them strong here in Santa Cruz. Something in the water, I guess. Solid putt for par.
And kind of a quiet stretch for our card. Only one birdie in the past 4 holes.
Tough stretch. Tough stretch for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, although, what was that, hole 7? We usually see some birdies on that one.
You know, Paul could be snagging another one.
Oh, yeah, he's had plenty of chances.
And
yeah, there we go.
And I mentioned old school line. The shot he just threw off the tee there was exactly that. Hyzer flip to flat, and it pushed nose down at the last second. That was a flippy disc. Number 10, a little bit easier version of hole number 9. A little bit more fun to watch. Downhill, let your disc kind of fly down this fairway. Nestle softly next to this basket with the road on the left. There are these logs that do block any sort of skip, which makes it a little easier to stay in. I'm interested to see what Paul's throwing here. That doesn't look like a putter. That looks like he's throwing... That almost looked like a driver that he was throwing. That had some glide on it. I don't...
Could have been a buzz.
Maybe. Kyle kind of backing his weight off that one. He's going to be halfway up the fairway. And go. Gives himself a circle 2 look. There we go.
Wow.
Alden, did you design this hole?
Nice.
Great shot. Almost dunks it in. This is a momentum putt for Paul.
Oh, he's got a line, too. Oh.
Would have been a big push for him after kind of a slow start.
This would be huge. Wow.
And
big putt.
I am so impressed with the way his shots are coming out of his hand. Like, you know, I say deliberate, and I've said it a couple times now, but he looks like what he's doing is going exactly where his mind is wanting it to go. So fantastic birdie for James. And Alden is free. He is
He's back.
He is back on the birdie train. Slowly whittling away that kind of rough misfire on hole 1.
Yeah, misfires combined with rollaways.
Yeah.
I still remember the first Art Pro dart I ever got. I took it to the course and immediately I knew that it was a disc that was gonna make my bag. It's just a disc that feels like it was made for my hands. It feels all I have to do is think about what I want it to do and it just does it. And that's why I usually carry at least 2 or 3 of them in all the tournaments I play.
Here we are on hole 11 for the Masters Cup. Normally hole 8A, as the locals refer to it, the shortest hole on the course. A little left to right bender with some trees in the way, hard packed dirt again. The shot here, I think, is just a overstable putter on an Anheuser.
Yeah, it's a little straighter than you think. Maybe not that straight, but I think James still might have something at the basket.
And I say overstable putter on an Anheuser, so it is, the disc is trying to move to the right initially, but then it's working its way back left, so it's like you're hugging the right side, but you're giving the right side a little bit of space as well.
Exactly. And Alden does that perfectly. It's flattening as he hit it on that Anheuser angle. Hopefully he stayed up there, actually. Oh, no.
What are you looking at, Isaac?
Uh-oh. Hopefully that did not roll. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it had a little bit of scoot on it when it hit the ground. McBeth going for ace.
And he sticks it.
That one sits.
That was going to go maybe thousands of feet long.
It could have. Only if it hit one tree, though.
Yeah.
Just one.
And here's Kyle throwing a link.
Throwing a link at multiple links.
That is a perfect shot. That is exactly how you want to play the hole.
Oh, and Alden's did fall down the hill. Man.
You really feel for him on that one because that shot was really smooth. Hit the hill with enough Anheuser to not even think about rolling, but I think one of those trees put it up on edge.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh.
First kind of big missed putt from James. That was definitely an opportunity to save a rough drive. Paul picking up another birdie, tying James.
Now tied, yeah.
And that's what's really exciting about following a tournament like this. Anything can happen. Anybody can score on any one of these holes.
When you say tournament like this, is that the course that we're playing?
Definitely.
Or, I mean, we also have a very high caliber field, so that plays into it as well. This is hole 12 on the Masters Cup layout, 320. It seems to play a little bit longer than that. Maybe because the basket is blind from the tee pad, but the players will be throwing, again, a left to right bending shot with another cliff on the right side. Going high.
Oh, wow.
You got it?
Sounds like he likes it. Yeah. Circle one for Paul. This is a shot that Kyle loves throwing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. Oh, I'm not sure if that hit one of those trees late.
It looked like it was fading off left at the end.
That had like change-up speed on it. That was so slow.
Ooh, James throwing a similar line to Paul. Almost gets Isaac that time.
And he's still going to be within a definite putts distance. Alden's going to use nose angle to control this line. A little bit low.
Helpful kick? Couldn't quite tell. Yeah, helpful kick. About 50, maybe? Mm-hmm. Alden hit Kyle's putter on that one. He hit a link. And Kyle hit the cage.
Both will be tapping in their pars. James and Paul are tied at 23 under. They are tied for third currently. And, you know, rounds like this, you really aren't checking scores the whole round. It's usually towards the end you start to check to see where you need to run something, where you need to play safe. But right now, these two are just going to be running as many birdies as they can.
Right. Yeah, because like you said, there's 24 holes. Even the hottest rounds are still missing 10. These guys have already missed, maybe a handful, give or take. And they started the round about like 5 or 6 strokes off the lead.
And there's another one from James from Circle 2. He is on fire. Only really missing one big Circle 2 putt.
Mm-hmm.
That is setting a tempo that Paul now has to follow. Usually he's the one setting the tempo.
Yeah, that's why they call him the rhythm section.
Do they now?
Yeah, because he sets the tempo.
Paul follows suit, gets his second birdie in a row. This is going to be an exciting battle we're about to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle taps in his par as well.
Okay, halfway done. Final round of the Masters Cup. James and Paul. James with 5 down, Paul with 6 down on the front half. Alden, man, just that triple bogey on the first hole just kind of stuck with him.
And as you can see, we have a tight race happening. There is a lot of possibilities out there. Again, we are halfway done. We have one more set of 12 holes left before the tournament concludes. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. Again, I'm Brian Earhart. He's AJ Risley. We're signing off.
Bye.